This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
So Julia has a new diabolical shtick.
Okay.
Whenever we're in public, and let's say we're at a store or something, and she wants me to buy her something, and I say no, she'll start exclaiming, or she'll start talking really loudly, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, don't hit me again. I don't want to go to the special room."
Oh, my God.
Really loud.
Oh, my God.
So she's pretty much getting...
That is a chip off the old block.
She's pretty much getting everything she wants. The pony, going to be delivered on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah, she's going to college next year.
Wow.
And she says it louder, and she always does it when there's been a couple of times I've seen, people looking up, what's going on there.
Well, I told you, in the reverse, one time when Tommy was having a complete meltdown, and, he was like 3 years old or something, we were at a Target, and I pretended like we were on like a candid camera thing,
like a reality show.
We were walking by the clothing racks. I'd say, "Don't look into the clothing rack. That's where the camera is." And I kept going. I mean, I really was so humiliated that
you're diverting attention
internally somehow. Picked this up and made that happen.
Yeah, but Julia, and she has this little smirk after she does it, and I get her latte, whatever, and her scone or whatever the hell it is. I am so scared. How do you combat that?
There's no way.
Right, you can't tell the people. She's kidding.
Yeah,
right.
She's making it up. Look at her.
Yeah.
Do you believe her? Sir, please.
Yeah.
Be nice to her. All right. Well, it's time.
Don't raise your hand to me.
It's time for Minutia Men.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
And she looks like she could be 14 or something.
Yeah,
13.
that's true.
Now she has braces, so she's this
Oh,
cute,
does she?
cute little girl.
Yeah. What is she, 18?
Yeah, she's going to be 19 in December.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. Good thing we didn't get older.
Yeah, luckily.
Hey, I got a story here.
Okay.
Family Guy. You a big Family Guy fan?
I'm not really. I don't dislike the show.
Right.
I just have never really gotten into it.
It's great.
Yeah.
We're gonna play a clip later.
Okay.
But you're right. It's not one of the shows that it's not appointment TV for me. But whenever I see it, I think it's hilarious.
Right. Exactly.
So Family Guy star Patrick Warburton says his parents still hate the show after 25 years. His mom tried to get it canceled, even though his salary helps support the family. Okay. I figured that this was going to hit a little home to you, right?
Yeah, I can definitely sympathize with that.
So Patrick Warburton, who has voiced Joe Swanson on The Family Guy since the show's
and
first...
was Putty on Seinfeld.
Right.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
So he's been doing this for 25 years ago. But his family still hates it. Right?
Yeah.
During a recent Paley Fest LA event celebrating Family Guy's 25th anniversary, Warburton revealed that his parents hate the Seth MacFarlane created animated comedy, and their disdain for the show went so far that his mom once tried to get Family Guy canceled.
Wow. That's a little further than my mom.
Yeah, Hildegard is never.
She's ashamed of me, but she's not. Not getting me fired.
They hate the show even more today than they did 25 years ago, Warburton says. My father was in a monastery for 3 months. He almost became a monk. My mother went around the neighborhood when I was 13 years old, passing out pamphlets on the sins of masturbation.
Oh, my gosh.
Which did not get me into the cool crowd at school. By the way, total minutia tangent. While I was researching this, and I do research, did you know that white cornflakes were invented? Or one of the
this is quite a tangent.
John Harvey Kellogg made cornflakes as a healthy, ready-to-eat, anti-masturbatory morning meal.
Is that right?
Google it. And now I don't know how much. I mean, there's a lot of
minutia. We promise it. It's in the title of the show.
Google cornflakes and masturbation, and you're going to get a whole, and do it incognito probably. So I have a audio clip of my favorite Family Guy. Do we need to set it up? Sure.
Well, it's Bin Laden. It's Bin Laden filming, a
Hate America speech.
Yes, and here we go.
This is a message to all American infidels. Prepare to die in a sea of holy fire. You will be punished for your decadent ways on the first day of Radaman. You... wait a minute, wait, did I just say, what did I say, Radaman? Blah, 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 blah. Ramadan. Radaman, what is that? Yeah, maybe Dennis Radaman is going to punish you with his crazy hair. No? What's that? Right, yeah, no. Okay, all right, okay, let's go again. Okay. This is a message to all Americans. I'm not going to be able to do it now. I'm not going. Okay, all right. Okay, no, I gotta get all the laughs out. Okay, gotta get all the laughs out. Okay, all right.
Today sometime.
Stop making that face over there. What are you doing? I can't. He makes that face and it makes me laugh. Okay, just turn around. Turn around. I don't care where you look. Just look over there. Okay, all right. They're cracking up over there. Okay. Oh, yeah, look who's snickering over there. Mister, I can't do a suicide bombing because I'm sick. He had a note. He got you. He had a note from his doctor. He brought a note from his doctor. It's a suicide bombing. What are you... Okay, all right.
How could she not like this? How can Mom not be proud of this?
When I was working for Stephen Geary, my mom was as proud of that as Patrick Warburton's mother is.
Yeah.
And she would always, downplay it. People would come up to her, is that your son that's on the show?
Rick the German man? Yeah.
Yeah, she always downplayed it. She always had a love-hate relationship with it because, the content on the show was pretty strong.
If my mom was alive now,
yeah,
I would not tell her about the podcast, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Has your mom ever listened to the podcast?
No, never.
Yeah.
Never. And I've got a funny story. I'm not allowed to write about her anymore because she gets mad at me when I write about her because it's usually
it's some funny little
story. But I promised a few years ago to never write about her again. But I have to tell you a story because we were at my sister's house this weekend. My brother came into town. And for some reason, the subject of Hitler was discussed for hours.
As well it should be, right?
Yeah. I told him about how you are Hitler obsessed and that that his favorite food is ravioli. And
even the Fuhrer has to watch his fate.
And that you knew his dog's name was...
Blondie.
Exactly. So
he was Crest Extra Mint toothpaste.
Anyway, my mother, who was sitting in the room, without looking up, goes, April 20th. And we're all like, what?
That's the day.
Yeah, that's Hitler's birthday.
That's his birthday, yeah.
And so I'm like, well, how do you know that, Mom? Who knows Hitler's birthday? Apparently you know Hitler's birthday. Yeah. She knows because, and this is the story I wanted to tell you, there was a restaurant in Chicago. I don't want to say the name of it. It's not around anymore, but you have been there.
Okay.
That on Hitler's birthday every year, they would offer up free beers.
Really?
To people who knew. If you said it was Hitler's birthday, you'd get a free beer. And they would sing happy birthday to Hitler at midnight.
Wow.
Had you ever heard that before?
No.
Now, this was not in the 1920s or 30s.
Was this 2000?
This was in the
90s, 80s?
No, in the 50s and 60s. Okay. Yeah. But still, 20 years after the war.
Yeah. Well, you know that April 20th is often the date of terrorist acts.
Because of Hitler's birthday?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. It's also a good day to get high, man. 420, man.
Well, was the Oklahoma...
No, that was the 19th.
Of April?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't want to bring the room down. Sorry about that. But I thought, what a weird story. Yeah. All right, I've got a story for you. This actually involves another mother.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan was the recipient of thousands of letters each month during his presidency, a mailbag so voluminous, in fact, that a gang of patient volunteers were tasked with opening them on his behalf and passing him about 30 letters a week to read and respond to.
So still not as many letters as Santa got in the Miracle on 34th Street.
No, nothing like that. But letters did arrive from all over the world, written by a diverse group of people, men, women, fans, critics, average Joe, celebrities, world leaders, and, marking a moment in history, a letter from a 13-year-old boy from South Carolina named Andy Smith, written exactly 40 years ago this week.
Okay.
All right. And he lived in Irmo, South Carolina. They published it on this website that I follow. Dear Mr. President, my name is Andy Smith. I'm a 7th grade student at Irmo Middle School in Irmo, South Carolina. Today, my mother declared my bedroom a disaster area. I would like to request federal funds to hire a crew to clean up my room. I am prepared to provide the initial funds if you will provide matching funds for this project. I know you'll be fair when you consider my request. I will be awaiting your reply. Sincerely yours, Andy Smith.
That is great.
Isn't that great?
I love Andy Smith.
This is like a little
total
you.
stick. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
a little
yeah.
you. And then Ronald Reagan responded, Dear Andy, I'm sorry to be so late in answering your letter, but as you know, I've been in China and found your letter here upon my return. Your application for disaster relief has been duly noted, but I must point out one technical problem. The authority declaring the disaster is supposed to make the request. In this case, that would be your mother. And it goes on to talk about a volunteer program, blah, 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 blah. But here's my thinking on this. If I were President Reagan in 1984,
I would have given money. I would
have hired him as a comedy writer because his letter is way funnier than Reagan's letter in reply.
Yeah, Reagan wasn't known for shtick, was he?
Well, he could have used some 13-year-old chops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The kid had his chops.
What is Andy Smith doing now? Do we have any idea?
I don't know, but he is now
famous again.
53 years old.
And he's famous again right now.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a review. You want to hear it?
I do.
This is a fun and interesting show. Very easy to get lost with Rick and Dave. You try driving with us. Top Dog Daddy versus Apple Podcasts.
Well, thank you very much for that. It's time for another feature.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls. Rick and Dave.
So, Dave, what is the top grossing movie of all time?
It's got to be one of those Marvel ones, probably, right? Avengers.
Avengers is the second most grossing film. Highest grossing. The number one is still Avatar. But this week it was the actual anniversary of Avengers Endgame coming out. And we have had on our show, believe it or not, we've had someone that was in that film, the second highest grossing film of all time. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not somebody that you know necessarily by name.
But you see him all the time.
You do. He is a stuntman. And in a movie like that, there are tons of stunts. And the first question Dave asked him was, what is your signature stunt?
Okay.
And so his name is Bobby Holland Hanton, and he does the stunts for Chris Hemsworth,
right.
but and many others. Right. But here's his discussion about stunt work.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I've been very fortunate to have exactly that. I've performed a lot of stunts in the past 13 years, as long as my film stunt career has been going. So as you said, high falls, fire burns, everything. So for me, I'm probably known for the whole physical side of things, like parkour, free running, jumping around, and I'd say probably specialise in a lot of wire work. So over the last 13 years, I've done so much wire work, if that's ratchets, if that's flying from buildings, falling through glass, whatever that may be. So, and that's, wire work's quite unique in a way for a stunt performer, because you only really do wires if you are a stunt performer, and you can't really learn it, you can go to training camps and do it, but to try and do it safely and rigged by professionals, it's something that you kind of only do in stunts in film and TV. So, as I said, from 13 years ago, I've been putting a wire and throwing it across the room hundreds of times. So you start to get used to how those wires work and how your body reacts to getting pulled off your feet at 1,000 knots a second. So it's I would say probably wire work would be my general all-round physical stunts is what I'm kind of known for, I guess.
What would you say? That sounds pretty dangerous. But what is the most dangerous thing that anyone has ever asked you to do? Have you ever been to a meeting where they say, "All right, we're going to do this," and you said, "No, I'm not doing that"?
Listen, I mean, it doesn't really work like that. I mean, obviously, safety is paramount. It's the first thing that we make sure is put in place, and that comes with rehearsals. That comes with an experienced stunt coordinator and stunt team, and so everything gets rehearsed and it is in increments, in very small increments, and we build up until it's safe to do it. So generally, it doesn't matter what it is, the whole team collectively can pull it off some way, shape, or form. So it would be rehearsal period, and the rehearsal periods are the most important. Sometimes we start a film maybe 8, 9 weeks, 12 weeks before the film starts principal photography. So that gives us time to break down the script, break down the action sequences, and rehearse the stunt. So as of yet to date, no, I haven't turned down a stunt. But again, it's something that we can, as a team, you work together to get the job done, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
How big is the team? When you say the team, like what kind of people are you talking about?
It really depends how stunt heavy the show is. So if it's a superhero movie and it's Thor or Avengers or something along those lines, or even Extraction, for example, then the team's pretty big, because you need a rigging team, which they guys do all the safety wires and cables, etc. Then you've got a fight rehearsal team, and then you've got utility stunts, a general team that help out across the board, and then you've kind of got two teams in two different units. So you've got main unit and second unit. So it just really depends on what the movie is to actually how action heavy it is to actually be able to put that team together. But I mean, listen, it can be, our Avengers team was 30, 40 strong, and that was core every day.
Wow. You've done some dangerous stunts, but have you ever been driven in a minivan on an 18-hour road trip with 3 kids that were not potty trained? Because
I haven't yet, mate. I haven't yet. But we've got a little 8-year-old, and she's a handful enough, to be honest. We don't need any more right now.
Okay. Well, you haven't done some stunts that I've done.
So she's 8. Is that what you said?
She just turned 8. Yes.
So she's probably the exact height, because when I had 3 daughters, like Rick said, they were all. They were 8 and 5 and 5. I had twins, and they would run into me continuously, and their heads were pretty much exactly where a very sensitive part of my body was, and I would crumble. Have they ever?
Where was that, mate?
Yeah, right. So, as a stunt person, have you ever had a crumble in pain after your daughter whacking you in a bad spot?
Luckily, no. She's listen. She's a little angel, really. She's pretty controlled when it can, and I think she knows when she shouldn't and should be doing things. So actually, not to date, and hopefully it stays that way. Okay.
Well, come on to Chicago, buddy. I've got 3 kids here. The Avengers stuff will mean nothing to you after a weekend.
He's a young man, Dave. He hasn't gone through the stunts that we have gone through yet, but you'll get there someday, kid.
I hear ya.
Yeah. There he is. Yeah. His name is Bobby Holland Hatton. If you want to listen to the entire interview, because we do get into a bunch of other stuff too.
He was very interesting.
Yeah. It's episode 184 of our regular Minutia Men show, because that one was before we even started doing the celebrity interview separately. So that was part of one of those shows.
So that was when we were the Mary Tyler Moore show before Rhoda spun off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It was the spin.
Exactly. Yeah, Phyllis is still on this episode.
There's a lot of people listening here that don't know what the hell we're talking about. Hey, I got a final story, and this is going to be a story that sounds great on paper, but I don't think it's
as good as it sounds. Okay.
Belgian man whose body makes its own alcohol cleared of drunk driving. A Belgian man was acquitted of drunk driving because he has auto brewery syndrome, ABS, an extremely rare condition where the body actually produces alcohol.
Wow.
Okay. This is a true thing.
Yeah.
Anze.
Save a fortune.
Well, yeah. Anze, I don't know, last name. I think, I don't know, the lawyer, said on Monday that in another unfortunate coincidence, her client worked at a brewery. So this person worked at a brewery, and his body actually produces beer, right?
Wow.
Belgian media said in the verdict, the judge emphasized that the defendant, who was not named in line with local custom, did not experience symptoms of intoxication, whereby he should not be, he should not be
shouldn't
prosecuted.
Be charged.
Right, exactly. So this is a real thing. It's that your body, and it's, again, this is what it sounds great on paper.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah, I mean,
probably not. Yeah.
You ever hear about like the people that have orgasms all day?
No.
There's another syndrome where all you do is have orgasms all day.
Yeah, and it just gets old after a while.
Well,
Yeah.
and then I mean, you could be at like your father's funeral,
Yeah,
you
good
know, or
point.
something, or you're at somebody's wake, and you're again the producing of beer.
Yeah.
Your first thought obviously was
It's a dream come true.
right, but I don't think it is.
Yeah.
But I knew that you were going to go on that, right? So I got a perfect name of the beer for you.
Okay.
Gout Stout.
Ooh,
Right.
that would be nice.
Yeah. Right. And the only one I could come up for me was Hebrew.
That's not bad.
Okay,
That
so
is not bad.
Gout Stout and Hebrew available at Kempfer's Beverage Depot.
Yes, wherever good beverages are sold. I have another German story for you. All right, I know you love my German stories. This one is about German trains. I mean, if you've ever been to Germany, the trains are excellent.
I've seen a lot of Schindler's List, and I know how you people use trains, and I'm
talking about recently. I'm talking about currently. German trains, and this is really cool. German trains are going to soon feature new cabins designed for greater privacy as part of a multi-billion euro revamp. All right, the state railway operator Deutsche Bahn has unveiled plans for compartments with frosted glass where travelers can take private video calls or cuddle.
Oh, okay.
Right? Dubbed
Do Germans
Knutsch
cuddle?
Abteil.
Do Germans cuddle? Is there a word for cuddle in German?
There is, Dave. Knutsch Abteil is Smooch cabins by German. That's how you say it in German.
Okay.
And the newspaper Bild, which is the big German newspaper, did a survey trying to get people to name these new compartments. And Knutsch Abteil was the big winner.
Okay.
So it's frosted, and apparently, if you're in this seat, you can press a button, and it's see-through glass originally, but you press the button and it frosts it, and the cabin can only hold 2 people.
Oh.
And they are for privacy, and so now they're called Smooch. Smooch.
German
Smooch cabins. They also have cuddle compartments, cuddle chambers, but the one that won was the very touching and beautiful sounding Knutsch Abteil.
Are they aware of German? This is in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Don't they know who their people are? I don't see Germans as being particularly cuddly.
That is not true. As a matter of fact, this is the sort of thing that you're going to hear when you walk by those cabins. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, Liebchen, bark like a schnauzer. That is the bratwurst in my pants, but I am happy to see you. Your lovemaking is so efficient. Touch it. Touch my glockenspiel. Oh, baby, I just love the way you are so punctual. But, Liebchen, I am a soccer player, and we can't use our hands.
And see.
Didn't we flop that one out a few weeks ago, too?
We
Didn't
did. But this one actually makes sense. Now we actually have it at a time when it makes sense. It's Germans who say erotic things. Thank you very much. Time for one last feature.
A random name pulled out of Rurik's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
Okay, this one comes to us from Andy. And it is Celebrity Potpourri. One of the reasons I like listening to you guys is that I'm a transplanted Chicagoan living in Boston now. We actually have a friend that's named Andy who
lives in Boston. Yeah.
And this is the part I like. And your accents and a lot of the stories you tell remind me of home.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I don't have accents.
No, right.
What are you talking about?
Hey, Andy, the podcast.
Hey, I got it right here. I moved. I moved away from Chicago during Rick's Loop days. I even met him at the first Cubs night game on 8/8/88 when he was broadcasting outside the ballpark with Stephen Gary. He looked a little frazzled. Yeah, I'm sure I did. I loved your Tony DeFranco interview. When he mentioned he was in real estate, it reminded me of my own celebrity real estate story. We're starting to get a bunch of these. The guy who sold me my most recent house in Boston is John Barman. I didn't recognize him at all, but he was the actor who played Spalding Smales in Caddyshack.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember the kid who picks his nose and eats it? $5 he doesn't eat it. $5. Spalding. He's apparently a real estate guy in Boston now. He didn't bring it up a single time when he was showing us the house, but I found out afterwards, after we did all the paperwork, I found out about him.
I can't remember what was was it Meatballs? Like the dorky guy in Meatballs? Do you know? You know that guy, the whatever. I read an article not too long ago, is also a real estate guy.
Is he really?
Yeah. So,
hey, we had one about 6 months ago. Vince Ferragamo, the old Los Angeles Rams quarterback, also real estate. Tony DeFranco, as he mentions in this, he's also a former real estate guy. So there you go. All right, we have people to thank. First of all, thanks for coming all the way out here to Mount Prospect, Dave. I appreciate that.
Where do I get gas validated?
Get your validation over at the...
hey, I got it right here.
We also need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasano.
Thank you, Tony.
With Opie Shows. Also, thank you to Ed Silla.
For distributing our fine product.
The Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio is indebted. Just move to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be
not next week. We are going to take next week off. So
we'll be back again in 2 weeks with another episode of
Minutia Man.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?